Hello there. My theory on the origins and operations of the werewolf spark on Teen Wolf a couple of weeks back generated a bunch of questions. I'm going to try to answer some of those here, and I have the beginning of an idea for a video about the various deities that we know operate in the Teen Wolf universe. If you're interested in a Gods of Teen Wolf follow-up video, let me know in the comments. But today we're focusing on a few if-then side effects that started when Zeus cursed Lycaon's family and created the first werewolves back in ancient Arcadia. If you enjoy these trips through Teen Wolf canon and nostalgia, hit the subscribe button and join me on these weekly journeys back to Beacon Hills. I'll say this, even though I know hardly anybody ever does it, I went into great detail on my theory about how the werewolf spark and specifically alpha sparks work in my earlier video. You really should see that one first, or this one isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. I'll link it by card above, but really just visit my channel. It's right there. It's got the picture of Derek doing his lion yawn face. There were a few basics of my theory that weren't spelled out clearly enough in the earlier video. The initial spark from Zeus to Lycaon and his 50 sons is the alpha spark. It's different from a regular werewolf spark because it allows you to create new werewolves. It probably also gives a boost to strength, speed, healing, and the other things that all werewolves have, but it's really not that huge of a difference, and becoming an alpha doesn't suddenly make you unbeatable. I mean, betas or even omegas can be strong enough to beat alphas. If that wasn't the case, then alpha sparks would never get stolen and regular werewolves would hardly ever rise in status.
I'm the alpha now.
Seemingly, based on what they showed us on television, the only thing that betas can't do is make new werewolves. Only alphas can, but even that didn't always work out perfectly.
Do you want the bite? If it doesn't kill you, and it could, you'll become like us.
So sometimes transferring a little bit of Zeus's spark will kill a person. Other times, when that little spark interacts with the person's own energy or their soul, it turns them into something twisted. I look at it this way. The little spark is a signal that says wolf, and it interacts with the bitten or scratched person's soul. Now, in most average, well-adjusted people, the little spark says wolf, and when it interacts with that person's soul, the message is clear. The soul accepts the wolf, and a werewolf is born. But sometimes the person's soul is damaged, or dark, or confused, and the little wolf spark gets all scrambled. The message gets twisted, and that supernatural energy takes on a shape that reflects that damaged soul. We saw that with Jackson. As an adopted kid, he felt rootless and lost. He sought direction and meaning for his life. His soul turned the werewolf spark into something that reflected his inner turmoil. He became a Kanima. That's a creature that seeks a master and has a desperate need to belong. With Kate, she was the most twisted and evil human we saw on the show. The spark hit her and formed the only creature that is truly evil enough to reflect her level of bad. That would be the shape of a cat, because cats are evil. Seriously though, she became what we called a were-jaguar, and what the berserkers in the Mexican temple mistook for the ancient Nahual that had first created them.
When I got here, I found the berserkers waiting for me. They helped me survive, and I didn't know quite why until just recently. It was then that I found out I could not only control the berserkers, but I could create them.
While she wasn't really Newall, she was close enough to interact with the powers in the temple to de-age Derek and then turn people into berserkers. But as was stated by the Calaveras and by Dr. Valak, Kate was not part of the Aztec legend that formed the basis of that temple.
I'm here because of what you know about South American mythology.
No. You want to know about Kate Argent. You want to know about La Loba, the Bone Woman.
La Loba, the Bone Woman, is a Mexican myth about a person who collects bones in the desert, and then once she has a complete skeleton, she sings to it until the flesh and fur return and it lives again. The Teen Wolf writers mashed that whole story together with the Berserker idea, and suddenly Kate was able to create and control bone-covered warriors. That is a little off topic, but I think it's important to explain how divine lightning that originated in the Greek pantheon was able to interact with the tools left over by the Mesoamerican Aztec pantheon. Kate wasn't actually the Aztec were-jaguar, but she was close enough for her twisted werewolf spark to make the temple work. Okay, back onto the main thread. Bites gone wrong, resulting in new creatures. Jackson's situation was apparently not unusual. There had been enough transformations that went wrong in this same way over the centuries to create Kanima lore within the hunter community. Now, we saw evidence of this in the bestiary that they showed on screen at the end of season 4. And that fact led me to consider the other were creatures, specifically the were coyote and the Lowenmensch. Were coyotes are exactly like werewolves with one small but important difference. They cannot create a new spark to pass on to their children. Instead, the spark is divided between mother and child. This was a key plot point once we found out Malia's birth mom really wanted to kill her so bad. This quirk in a creature that is in all other aspects exactly like a werewolf got me thinking. What if all the divergent wares are just bites gone wrong? Like with the Kanima, the were-coyote twist happens often enough to become its own thing. Eventually, though, with the division of power at birth, were-coyote reproduction becomes dicey and would eventually lead to the spark being so weak as to no longer matter. As is typical, males of the species would be spared this particular power depletion, but as we saw, even a crossbreeding with a fully sparked beta werewolf did not result in a fully sparked offspring. This suggests, if my theory is correct, natural-born were-coyotes will be extremely rare in the Teen Wolf universe. This opens up a whole realm of stories about the Desert Wolf's origins. Given her personality, it is easy to imagine that she was a bite gone wrong herself. But there were enough were-coyotes that came before her that Talia was already aware of that whole childbirth downside. This part of my theory might also explain how that Nazi bastard Douglas became a Lowenmensch. Now, as far as we know, there is no such thing in real-world folklore, so his situation might be a wholly unique twist on the werewolf bite. It would also explain how he managed to gain alpha werewolf status. Just like Jackson, Douglas might have resolved whatever issue made the bite go wrong. He would have then transformed into a werewolf, but just like Jackson kept his tail, Douglas kept his lion parts, and at some point attained alpha status. Okay, let me try to state my thought more clearly. All divergent wares are bites gone wrong. Some, like the Kanima and were-coyotes, happen often enough to become a recognized separate thing, whereas Kate's were-jaguar and Douglas's Lowenmensch may well be completely unique creatures. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, please. I'll see you next time we go back to Beacon Hills.